Come closer.
Over this way. What do you want me to do?
We are live.
You
This
gotta be
is
over here.
Natalie
You turn
Koval
your computer.
with Matchmaking
Yeah.
Boutique by Natalie Koval. And
Good.
today we are talking about happily married couples, Robert and Oksana and Keith and Elena. They are with us. Robert and Oksana have been married since Valentine's Day of 2012. We are going to celebrate 9 years anniversary this year. Hey, hey, hey. Yay! And Keith and Elena have been married from 11/11/11. So it's already, 10 years?
I don't know.
10 years anniversary, Keith and Elena.
I can barely hear you, sweetheart.
Okay, make your voice louder.
Put code out there.
Не-не-не, я сейчас поставлю динамик, видимо, у меня в компьютере не совсем звук такой,
All right, put code out.
хотелось бы.
Go out.
Yes, now we are all loud. And I'm introducing my happily married couples, Keith and Elena, Robert and Oksana. They're wonderful families, and we're going to talk about children today. Because very often I hear men are hesitant about being introduced to women who have children. And they say that they have many concerns about it. And I want to open the horizons for many men and talk about happily married couples who have brought children, teenage daughters into America, and share their own experiences of bringing in children and handling it in their relationships. So, are you ready to talk, Keith and Lena?
Yes. I guess.
Robert, Oksana, are you there?
Yeah.
Robert and Oksana are driving. They're making a long trip. My godson, Anthony, hello.
Yeah, he's happy to see you too.
Yay!
He just went.
Yeah.
That's why a little bit not in the mood.
Oh, well, life is life anyway. But since the subject is about children, we are going to discuss children. He's got to be there because he is showing that children are actually a big fruit of our love and relationship and everything that we live for. But one of the subjects are children. So, Robert and Oksana, my dear Keith and Lena, and my dear Robert and Oksana, I really, really thank you very much for joining me this evening, for being here with the community of Matchmaking Boutique by Natalie Koval, because it is making more people believe in international relationship and giving them more power and giving them more ideas on how they can succeed with international love affairs and bringing a wife from Ukraine and making it work with their girlfriend from Ukraine and getting a family. And I remind my subscribers to stay subscribed with Matchmaking Boutique by Natalie Koval channel, because they are going to see a lot of love stories and important information about relationship and how it works. So today we are talking about children and bringing children into, let's say, United States of America. Keith, Lena, Oksana, Robert. Well, the question is to guys. When you met your wonderful women, and you knew that you would have that Oksana had a daughter, that Elena had a daughter, did you have any concerns related to the existing child when you started relationship? Robert, Keith?
No, I didn't really have any concerns because the number one reason was I had children as well. So I'd prefer to have a girl with a child because she would understand some of the hardships and blessings of having children. And blended families are always tough. And so, she
Yeah.
was in the same boat I was. She had to accept my children the same as I had to accept hers.
Thank you, Robert.
My children at the time lived with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the same age too. It's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, really. I do tell the guys, if you have a child, then look for somebody who's got a child, because then you will have common experience. And your life experience of raising a child from 0 to the age that a child is will connect you to the woman who's got maybe a child of a similar age, or maybe 1 or 2 years like higher or lower, older or small or younger. But then it just connects you more, because if you have 3 children and your wife has no kids, she will be your child number 4 basically.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah.
How about you, Keith? Did you have any concerns knowing that Elena has a daughter?
Yeah, I actually, in a sense, I wasn't really worried, but I did have concerns. What are you doing? Oh, I did have some concerns. My concerns, I think, you're always you're kind of wondering, what's the new child going to be like, if the child has any issues with the parents, or with perhaps a new guardian, my concern is to get to know the child, possibly my future wife, to get to know her as much as I could, and to see if there was any underlying issues, or if there was something that, if the child was maybe had drug abuse or alcohol abuse. Depends if the child was older or if the child was younger, if there was anything to really be concerned about, if any illnesses or anything like that. So, I wanted to look at that. And was I worried? Not really, but you want to take a look at that and see what's there. And so, it's a concern. And then once you meet like I got to meet my daughter, and she was wonderful. But still, there were things with her, as far as coming here. There was, leaving her friends and coming to America, someplace new. And so we had to, work through those things as well, but other than that, it's, I think it's good to build a relationship with your new prospective child that you're going to be a family with, and find out all about them, and find out about how they view life, and what their needs and wants are, and concerns are as well, about going to a new place such as America, and to try to make them feel as comfortable as possible.
Thank you. Thank
Sure.
you, Keith. Well, I often hear many comments from potential clients that they worry about breaking the connection between the child and their existing father, getting father's permit for the child to leave Ukraine and be in a new family, finding emotional connection with a new child, is what you were saying. Financial burden of raising someone else's child. And today I was talking to a friend of mine, and he says a good guy has no problem raising someone's child, but a bad guy has concerns about like paying for his own child's life, and overcoming an ego of a child who owns his or her mom, and kind of becoming part of that equation as well, because children are becoming big part of our lives, and when we are getting a new partner, they are becoming jealous, and that kind of stuff. So have you had that kind of concerns, Robert and Keith? Let's talk about that. So what about all that, like permission of the father, breaking the connection, getting involved into the new family, and overcoming the existing connection between mom and her daughter, because you both have daughters. So how was that?
Go ahead, Robert.
Well, with her daughter Dasha, the relationship with her father was actually non-existent. But the relationship with my two kids, with their mother, was non-existent. So I actually pushed Dasha to call her dad, like on special occasions, like his birthday and stuff. And it didn't really go well. He didn't acknowledge that he even had a daughter. But over time, with me pushing her, she now has a relationship with her father, which is good. I think we all want to know who our parents are. And I didn't want her to have any issues about, well, I came from Ukraine to America. I never knew my father. Now I'm never going to know him. And like that. As far as the jealousy issues, I did have some trouble with my children because they did have me all to myself. Or they had me all to themselves. And with Oksana first coming, it wasn't exactly, peaches and cream. Oh, great, we got a new mom. Especially with my son. He's like, who is this? Wasn't really trusting her. And it's taken a long time for him to come around. But, they have a good relationship now. He's in the Navy, so he doesn't get a call all that often. But when he does call, they have a great relationship. And with Dasha now having her own baby and having her dad back in her life, it's like come full circle. Everybody's like, wow, look at all the time we missed just doing the wrong thing. And so the relationships are good all the way around. Mm-hmm. But it's like anything else, it just takes time. But I never was worried. I never was worried about the dad not signing. And I'm sure there are cases of that, but I had not ever heard of that. Usually, the dad's like, yeah, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, he don't care.
Yeah.
He don't care.
So. So now she has two dads.
Yeah, now she has two dads. Yes. And how about you, Lena and Keith? How was your relocating the child? What the concerns that I've mentioned about, were they an issue?
Actually, she was really good, but there were a couple issues. There were, her missing her friends and stuff like that, and adapting to America, coming here and making new friends, and adapting to a new home and to us being together. And she never really spoke up too much about any of that. She seemed to be very open to everything and cheerful. But then after a little while, there was some remorse that set in where she wanted to go back to Ukraine. And after, she had to be here for a little while for the green card and all her documents to go through. So that was a good little trial period. I think it was like 6 or 7 months, and it was good. And then, we did send her back. She went to go home and see grandma and an old boyfriend, and got to stay for a month and just kind of reiterate that a little bit, which was good for her. And then she came back, and she stayed for all this time. But the other part I think is important when you're bringing over a wife with a daughter is it's important to get all their paperwork done together. So if that's possible and the daughter's willing to come and you work all that out prior, it's easier to get the 2 green cards and the citizenship flowing together. It's cost effective, and it's good for the mom to be there with the daughter, because if the daughter's still, or the son is still over in Ukraine, the mom's always going to be worrying and concerned about what's going on with them and back and forth. These are my thoughts. But if they're here together, they both can adapt together, because it's It's just they're not here by themselves in the country by themselves, speaking their own language and new to a foreign language and new places and things such as that. So I think it's works out better for two of them to come instead of just one. And I think it makes it easier upon them both. The next question you had was about the father. I wasn't really too concerned about him saying yes or no. I'd already spoken with Elena about that, and she seemed to say that, you know, he was pretty receptive to doing that, and that it would be okay for her to come here. And I'm sure he misses his daughter. I mean, I think as any man would, obviously. And but, you know, we tried to reassure him that, you know, we wanted that communication. And there wasn't that much of a communication anyway between him and her as well. As like what Robert was speaking with Dasha, you know, there was a little bit of communication from what I understood, not as much because she was living with Elena at the time and not with the father. And but I also encouraged her to, you know, open up her relationship with her dad. It's like, yes, you know, keep going. You know, it's important, you know, to have him in your life as well as me. And I, you know, I was adamant about that. And I spoke with her several times about that. And she started to open up that communication more. And as far as I know, she communicates with him pretty good right now as well. So, you know, all that opened up, and I think maybe they even have a better relationship now, even though it's distant. And when she returned there a few years ago, she actually did go to see her father and her grandparents on that side of the family, which is really good and I well deserved. And like she, you know, and she was really happy to be there, and they greeted her with open arms and all that. So it went very, very well. So it was well received, I want to say. So yeah. So I guess we were, you know, I don't know if you would call it lucky, but we just, you know, you got to use your wit about you and onto certain things about how you want to proceed to help with that relationship. You know, I mean, you know, maybe not all fathers, you know, are going to be that receptive as, you know, as we were to be and he was with us and everything. But, you know, if you have an opportunity to, I would say, keep that relationship open, I think it's very important for the child all around, you know, as well for her, you know, me being her new father and her father, or biological father in Ukraine. So.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you, Keith. How about the daughters? How did Dasha and how did Anya react to moving to a new country? Maybe it's time for Lena and Oksana to talk. Were they happy? Did they love America right away? How was it for them? Oksana.
She very like new school because she's going to high school, so she have a new friend there and she like it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the first her job, I remember in the high school, she's been waitress, very like it. It's new experience for her. Yeah, everything okay.
So it was positive, right? How about Anya, Lena? Did Anya like her school? Did she blend in?
Not really from beginning. It was like kind of depression because everything in English and change all mentality, like culture.
Yeah.
Culture.
Yeah.
But half year, she was struggling a little bit. She was good, and now she never regret about she come here. But she didn't want to go to America because she had a love in Ukraine, and she wanted to stay, but she didn't want to leave me alone. Not really alone, but for her, like she feel like I need her support. It's like
Yeah, and it seemed like too after she that first 6 months, after she adapted and she started, she completed a school year. She came in halfway through the school year, and she the following school year when she started, she had told me, and I remember this while you guys were talking, that she got to be a cheerleader, and she was really excited about that. So she wanted to be an American cheerleader. So she got to do that. She loved that. And she got that great experience, and she was very happy about that. And so she went on to express all that with me, how all that opened up for her. And she also met, which was really good, I think important, she met other girls from other countries, because there were foreign exchange students here in America that would come for like a school year and stay. So she got to meet, I think, some girl from Chile and another one from Brazil, and some other boys from Spain or Mexico. And so she had her own little group with foreign kids and then American kids as well. But she got to interact with them because they all spoke different languages. And so it made her feel a little more comfortable. That was my observation. And then she was interactive with being a cheerleader. So that kind of helped her to focus more and get rooted into American culture a little better and feel like she was more accepted at school being a cheerleader, and helped her to make more friends and everything like that. So that's what I saw.
yes.
That sounds very, very inspiring. That sounds very inspiring. But from what I remember, Robert and Oksana, Dasha was okay in Ukrainian school, but she really became very, very successful in American school. Was it so? Just
she assimilated very well. In fact, too much. She became a typical teenager at the time for the high school. Dyed her hair purple, skipped a couple classes, got in trouble with the teachers. Typical teenager stuff, really. But she made a lot of friends there, and she liked school. She had a good time there. She still carries these friends to this day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, right now I know that both of your daughters are happily married.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
right.
I grandma already.
Yeah.
Not me. I'm not grandma yet.
Yeah, I'm very happy
Look
grandma
at this
right
look at this beautiful Oksana and Robert and Elena and Kyiv, and you can't say that she's grandma. Hey. Yeah.
Elena's a grandma to my son's 2 kids. So,
No, I'm wife of grandpa.
Yes.
I'm not a grandfather either, so that's a good thing. We're too young. Look at Robert and Oksana; they're too young to be
I'm very happy. She's her name's Scarlett, and I'm very happy she's girl, because I'm always more excited to have a girl.
Granddaughter.
Yeah.
The granddaughter. No, about Dasha, I'm very excited to have the first my child, a girl, and I have her. So then it's the same. I'm very excited to have a girl granddaughter, and I have it. So my dream come true. It's good.
Yeah.
And I have a little boy too.
Exactly. Anthony is my godson. No, lovely boy. And I am really I pray to God for him giving the blessings for you, Robert and Oksana, have another baby, because it really reconnects the family, makes it really strong. And now I see your son, I see both of you together, and you, Keith and Nana, you're really, really dear to me. Yeah, thank you.
Well, we love you too.
Natalie.
Well, talking about biological fathers, besides Robert's being kind of supportive of Dasha connecting to her biological father, was the biological father of the daughters supportive, or how did he help to the daughter?
0.
In each of your cases?
0.
Yeah, 0.
Minus 0.
In fact, the first time
0. You
Yeah,
mean
the first time
financially?
I actually made Dasha call her dad. He was like, Dasha who? Your daughter. I don't have a daughter.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that broke Dasha's heart. She was really upset
Oh my
about it. Didn't
God.
want to call him again after that, but I kept pushing her. I said, well, he just doesn't know what he's doing, but over time, so over time, the relationship was healed, but it wasn't overnight. It took several years. And if it hadn't been for me pushing the issue, they would never have reunited.
Right.
And now they have a great relationship.
Mhm.
And especially now that she has a daughter, and that's his granddaughter as well. And, so
Yeah.
everybody's kind of around, but hey, be a dad, be a grandpa.
Right.
So I mean, it's a good thing for everybody. It was a struggle at first, but it all works.
Yeah, actually, she have a more relationship with grandparents than father. Yeah, because grandparents really crying when she go to America. They very miss her.
Mhm.
But no father. Father don't cry.
Father cry from happiness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is something that is being built now in Ukraine, a real connection of the father and his children. And it's kind of slow because the law reinforcement is kind of backwards in Ukraine. And I hear a lot Ukrainian women saying, we had a stream about divorce. And after that stream, with all the respect that I have to Ukrainian society, the woman was telling me after the stream that, we had prenuptial agreement. According to the divorce court decision, he had to do A, B, and C, but he didn't do it. And the law enforcement couldn't force anything on him. So even though I have a divorce court's decision, and I have a prenuptial agreement that obliges the man to do what he has to do, I'm still on my own with my son, and I'm performing all these duties by myself. So what international couples go through, let's say, it's a big plus for the children because children are getting better connection, better understanding of what family has to be like, what really people are like responsible for things, and what people have to do to stay together. From what I understand from my existing and like new families coming, when they are connecting new children into their new lives, is that children are learning a lot. And now with Robert saying that he pushed his new daughter to reconnect with the father is really like meaning a lot to me. And now, talking about money, was it expensive to raise a foster child, Keith and Robert? Or did it really like make a big difference that you had an extra person? Men worry about that.
Robert, you want to go first?
No.
Clothes very cheap in America, food very cheap in America, nothing else. And school free. That's it.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt our budget at all. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, it was I'd already raised 2 boys, so it seemed natural for me. It's no problem. It's
They eating more than my daughter.
yeah. But they were already moved out, and when she came, it's I don't know, it seems like the abundance is there, and it's not really an issue. It's just it's really simple. It's just having another person there with you, and for me, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, it's this, and oh my gosh, it's that. And no, it wasn't. It just seemed like it just fit, and everything just flowed normally. And I think at that time too, after Elena and Anya came, one of my boys had moved back for a little while as well and stayed with us for a few months too. You know, for me, my kids, my door's always open. I don't care whether they're 35 or 40 years old. If something goes wrong or whatever, my door's always open. That's the way we are. Our door's open for our family and you know, and our friends like Robert and Oksana, you know. So
yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
always, you know, yeah, and we that's just the way we are. I mean, I know some people probably aren't that way, but we are, and so it was simple. I mean, was there some costs? I think most of the costs come in with attorney's fees and you know, going for the citizenship and all the appointments and all that. There's fees involved in that, but you know, they're not so high that you're not going to make it through it, you know. So but that is for, you know, people out there bringing kids over, you know, there are those fees that are obvious that you need to take into consideration when you're doing everything. And like I said, it's a lot easier to bring the mother with the kids over at the same time. So when you're working on the citizenship, it all goes together with two. You're not bringing one over later, and then you have to go through all the appointments again with bringing the kids separately or something like that. So it's definitely easier to do it all together, and I think it makes it better for the mom as well. So she has that companionship, you know, their child. They're not thinking that their child's somewhere else and worried about them, plus trying to build a relationship with a new husband in a new land and in a new place. And there's already enough there to concern them with, or for them to, you know, they can get a little maybe overwhelmed with such things, you know, being in a new place. So it's easier to simplify it that way.
Thank you, Keith. We have a question from one of our audience. How did the couples establish discipline and roles with each other's children? How did you do that, Robert? The discipline and roles.
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting question. If it was just a small discipline thing, like, you know, the kids just aren't listening, I would tell Oksana, hey, you need to talk to Dasha, and I would have her say, hey, talk to my kids. That way they didn't have sort of a rebellion, like, oh, you're not my parent, you can't tell me anything.
Yes, thank you.
And we would slowly work into both being a parent to the child. And I think that a lot of that comes with time. I mean, the child isn't going to respect you immediately. They're going to respect you as a person, but there's still going to be that, especially as teenagers, there's still going to be that little rebellious side, especially if you're telling them to do something that they don't want to listen to. Well, you're not my parent. So I would just say, hey, Oksana, and she would take care of it, and vice versa with my kids. Now, you know, before they did move out of the house, we were both able to discipline them as well, but them being older and settled into the relationship and gave each of us more respect, you know, it's another one of the things that just takes a little bit of time.
Yep.
Yeah. How many children do you have, Robert? Share your children experience. You're quite a trooper there.
We calculation adults or no? Because all are adults right now, just Anthony.
No. Starting from scratch. Okay, Robert. How many kids have you been involved with? So
well, I have two of my natural born kids, and I have two Russian boys that I adopted, and then I have Dasha, Oksana's daughter, and then we have a son together, Anthony.
yes, and
Martina,
so
with you too.
Yeah.
it's 6 children.
Yeah.
You're a star. Wow. How about you, Keith and Lena? How many children have you had altogether?
I had 2 boys and her daughter, so we have 3.
Far
Okay.
as I know.
As far as we know.
He
Yeah.
has it 2 sons. It's official.
How about you? How did you establish the discipline and roles for the child?
Do you want to answer? Or do you want me to answer? Well, we talked about it a little bit, and of course, when she got here, there was always like a teenager. They're gonna test their ground, what they can push on you, see what their limits are. Oh, I'm gonna stay out late here and do this, or I'm gonna do this, and then we talk about it, and then I just basically just stepped into my role as a father and said, well, look, this is how I do things. This is what I do here. This is how I see things, and this is it, and I just pretty much laid down the law a little bit, and of course I spoke with Elena about it, and she goes, no, I'm the same way, and then I would explain my feelings to Elena, and she didn't understand me in English. Elena expressed it in Russian, and said, look, and then there was compromise. I listened to what she had to say, or why she was out late or something. But, there was those moments as well. And, she's testing to see what she can get away with and how far she can push it. So, it's just doing natural things that all kids do. They're gonna test their new ground, their new father, their new area, and what they can do. And if if you just step up and you do things how you see you'd like to raise your children, and that's what we did. So, and there wasn't too much resistance or anything. It just, Anya was very cooperative. She was, she was great. So I can say that. I mean, there was just a couple little things, nothing super crazy, and everything seemed to work out. And I found that the more we spoke with her about certain things and talked with her, and I opened our relationship together, it worked out really well. So she always calls me dad, and she's really, she's always happy to come see me and come see us. And, we'll talk once in a while on the phone. She's not here right now. She lives a couple hours from us, but she'll call me occasionally, and I'll call her, and we keep that relationship open. So we have a pretty good relationship. I'd like to think. So yeah, she's one.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
That's very, very sweet. But let's go back to that time when your daughters came to the new world. And were the surrounding people, school, relatives, friends, society in general helpful in raising a child? Or there was some bad influence coming from the community? So the question is, was the community cooperative and supportive, or it was giving some bad influence to the child?
Well, I think it's normal. It was actually a little bit of both. They came here as a teenager. Dasha came here as a teenager, and of course my children were teenagers. They came here and everybody was supportive, but still at that age, you still have teenagers being teenagers. Hey, let's go do this. Let's try this. And my kids were just as guilty as her of, colluding together, if you will, to do things that were kind of rebellious or on the edge, or but I like to classify it not as a bad influence, but just what typical teenagers do.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't matter where you are, America or Ukraine.
Right.
Yeah.
When you get more of them together, they kind of want to do a lot more crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I dare you, you won't do that. Oh, watch me, I sure will. And so they all get into the same trouble.
I remember somebody broke in my charge from the phone, and everybody point each other like, oh, it's Leo did. No, it's Bobby did. Bobby says, no, it's Dasha did. So it's like, oh.
Nobody's guilty.
Typical brothers and sisters, real quick.
Yeah, like that.
If something good happened, they did it. If something bad happened, well, no, it wasn't them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Somebody else.
like it wasn't me.
But,
Okay.
Children are children, and they all did the same crazy stuff that I think most teenagers do. And like he said, they're always going to test your boundaries. And there's a lot of times all of them would gang up on us, And so, it's just a part of children becoming adults.
The number one things which I will recommend for everyone who is have a teenager, traveling together. That's very comes family close. We take them in the ocean. They very happy, everyone. We take all of them kids. We take them in the cruise.
Yeah.
They happy about. That's not one step which every couple should do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so not excluding the children from the family, but bringing them in and taking them with you, right, Oksana?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some things like big family.
Wow. Thank you. How about you, Keith and Lena? Was the community and surrounding people supportive, or they were against, or they were like pushing it back from you? And how in general the society was helpful in raising the teenage child, or the temptations were really making a lot of difficulties?
We lived in a small community, so it's not like we have neighbors right next door and everybody's like, oh yeah, this, so it was nothing like that. But they seemed receptive. I mean, we could tell from when she went to school and when she would come home, and some of the friends that she went out with and hung out with, and you could tell that they were trying to pull the same teenage stuff and do this and do that, and like I said before, always trying to test and push their limits and everything. And she had a couple boyfriends that would come over and take her out on a date, and everything. And the parents seemed really nice. They always liked Anya, and they were real receptive to her, and the teachers and people at school. So it's kind of like having a foreign student. People seem to be more receptive to that. They like that here in America. Oh, you're the new kid, and it was kind of open like that. And like Oksana said too, we went on a couple of family vacations together. We did a couple family things together, and we took Anya and my son Chase, and I think we took one or two of the grandkids at the time with us, and did a few things. So I think that's important to include everybody together and do a few things. I think that strengthens the bond of the family, doing things, and that way nobody's excluded, and you're trying to show unity and not diversion, which is important. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, from what I see is actually the wisdom of parents, the power of men and women, and their connection is really making the difference in the child's life, because it's a big challenge. And now we are moving forward really like slowly to the last question, which is probably the hardest. The power of the parents, that is giving lots of support to the child and really telling you can do it, hold on, don't give up, we will survive the hard time, let's travel together, yes, it's difficult, but we're gonna win. And now the question is, Keith, and you were saying about it, in your story, it was much better to have Lena and Anya together, because they had, when you were at work, they had the community. They were together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's good because Elena wasn't alone, so she wasn't so bored. She had somebody to cooperate with and do stuff with. And I assume it was the same with you, Robert and Oksana, right?
Yeah.
When Robert,
I work from home, so we've always been together as a team. But yeah.
I see. Yeah. So now the question is, if you had a chance, would you do anything differently in moving a child to the USA, Robert? If well, I know that both of your daughters, they were like going to what, 11th or 10th grade in Ukraine. What was it? 11th or 10th?
So 10th grade for us.
10th grade.
Or-
Yeah.
I think she was 11th or senior in high school. Yeah.
So she started
Well,
high school here.
Yeah, that's 10th
Yeah.
grade.
Yeah. So it's the life of, I love it all. It's maximalism. It's all. Would you?
No, I do everything the same because the end result, which what we have now, is just perfect. So there's no reason to change. Living a happy life, having a happy life.
Don't you think it would be easier, like, to give a child a choice? Say, hey, I'm taking mom. You stay with your grandma, or you stay with your father, or stay with your grandpa. And then, if you want to come to America, you are welcome.
No, I don't believe. I don't believe that the children are mature enough and have enough information to make that decision.
I see. How about you, Kyiv?
We did give her that choice. We did talk to her about that. Yeah, we gave her that choice, and we spoke with her about it. I wanted to be her choice to come. I didn't want to feel like we were pushing her to come or anything like that. But we sat her down and explained to her about all the potentials and or ramifications. Hey, if you come, this is how it can work out. This is what's good for us. This is how this would work. If you stayed, it's still fine. You can do this, but this is the potential for this way. And, but it's better for us this way. And we tried to really, I really wanted her to be happy about coming. Wanted it to be her choice. And, that she feels comfortable with what she's doing. But, her mom still has the influence because, she was underage. She wasn't 18 yet or 20 or anything like that. And on her own life, she was still, her mom still had custody and authority over her and was her mom and taking care of her. So, and I know her mom explained to her also about, about missing her and wanting her to be with her too in a new country and in a new place and all those things. But, we tried to put it to her in a way, we wanted her to make her own choice, but I also was pushing too, to, in a sense, not overwhelmingly, but I said, it would definitely be better and to do everything together. And that was actually some of the advice that you gave me, to make sure that they got their, it's easier to do the green cards and when it was better for the mom and less stress and all that, and to take all that stuff into consideration. And we asked her to do that as well, to really think about that. And it all worked out very well. So I she really chose to come and it was important. So, and I think at one point, she was like, she was really, really ecstatic about coming. She was like, yeah, I really want to go. So after we opened all those doors and made her feel comfortable with that option, she seemed really, before she was apprehensive and kind of pulling back a little bit, like, I don't know, maybe I want to stay at grandma's. But once we kind of put it in her lap and explained everything, she was like, okay, I'm packing. Let's go. When can we go? Yeah.
Her only concern is just because she had a love.
Yeah, she had a boyfriend there. That was the other thing pulling her back. Oh, I miss my boyfriend. Yeah. So, yeah. So that was if there was no boyfriend, she would have just jumped right in. It would have been fine. But I do remember one thing she was a little bummed about too, is because I think you graduate in Ukraine in 11th grade, and so when she came here in that, she would have graduated in that 6-month period. She had to have another full year of school here in America, extra year. So she was a little bummed about that. But like I said, when she came back from Ukraine, that 1-month leave, that extra year gave her the opportunity to be a cheerleader and all that. So she was really happy about that. So she, at one moment, she was, oh my God, 1 more year of school. And then she actually got to fulfill a dream of doing the high school thing, becoming a cheerleader. And that got her more involved. So that extra year was very, very beneficial. She made more friends. It like smoothed things over. And it was great for her. So it worked out very well. So, yeah.
Fantastic. What does your daughter love the most about America? Yes. I mean, Elena, what was some of the most exciting things she said she really loves about America?
Like freedom, more freedom to travel. And they bought a trailer, and a
travel trailer,
yeah. Husband, wow. They traveling everywhere, and they can go working everywhere where they want. So they kind of more freedom here.
Wow.
Yeah, she likes to be able to go camping and do things. She loves the outdoors, and so I think it opened a lot of potentials and a lot of great opportunities for her. She feels a more sense of freedom here. Now that she was here for a while and then years later went back to Ukraine, she can see the difference, and there's more opportunity here for her. The freedom's open. She feels a bigger sense of freedom and a self-accomplishment, that she can just move from this job to that job. It's not a hindrance. She can experience new things, and she likes that, and it's really good for her, and it's a greater experience for her, and she really likes that. So that's what I get. Yeah.
Cool. How about Dasha, Oksana? What does Dasha love the most in America?
Right now, or when we just take her?
Well, both. When she moved and right now.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom and road. Good road to drive in.
Good roads to drive on.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want here, but when you're in Ukraine, you not exactly have a freedom to do something. Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Yeah. Oh wow.
Yourself, some kind of you can find work very easy, what's very difficult in Ukraine. So Dasha been working in the restaurant waitress. Just next day she have a work. She just go there, fill application. Next day she working like any problem. Good luck find work in Ukraine. Even after university, nobody takes you. That's my story. I've been looking around couple years after university, nobody wants to take me because not have experience. In America, it's do whatever you want. Next day, okay, you working, no problem.
Yeah, I see.
That's number one, which she really likes it.
Yeah. And now we've been talking about the fact that, I married a single mom and this happened. So in the Robert and Oksana story, what happened was a teenage daughter who was struggling to get adopted, but then she just skyrocketed into great experience and, suffering, but then really getting it and making it happen, making her own life. Now she's happily married. Now she has a child. And Robert, what's the greatest benefit from marrying a woman who's got a child? And now you have a new child.
Yeah. I have another daughter. I love her dearly, and it's just been a pleasure to watch her mature and grow, and she's just a part of me like anybody else in my family. We're all love each other, and and I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Thank you, really. And Keith, you married a single mom and this happened. What happened?
A single mom.
Yeah, Elena was a single mom when you married her, right?
I'm joking.
Now she's a married mom. And a wife of a grandpa.
Oh, no. No. Yeah.
Yeah, she said.
It's been great. She's been really good. Everything's been really good. I mean, there's nothing that really stands out in my mind that I would change, that would go back and change. I think the only part that was kind of difficult is just, and I wouldn't call it too difficult, is just going through some of the interviews and some of that stuff with the State Department. But and it's important that they understand English in those interviews. So I would say that to the men. Elena didn't speak any English when I met her, and we just hit it off really good, and it was really, really great. So I wouldn't discount or exclude a woman that doesn't speak English. If you have that chemistry and everything, and you make that connection with her, that's wonderful. And what I did with Elena is through Natalie's service, as I got her an English instructor and started teaching her English as fast as I could. And it was great. And I'll tell you what, that was very important when it came to the interview process. So it's important that they learn English quickly and as fluent as they can to help them through that process. For me, I love all the broken English. People ask me, do you speak Russian? And I say, no, I speak 15 dialects of broken English. So,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And with Spanish, she's learning Spanish too. So I get Spanish, English, and Russian at me sometimes. I'm like, what did you just say? So anyway, so it's kind of funny, but I enjoy it, and but I think that's very important. If I can't express that enough, is the children, to have them learn English and to have your spouse learn English the best they can. And it'll help them feel more comfortable when they're talking to people here in the States, or when they go to the grocery store, or through the interview and all that. It builds self-confidence within the ladies, I think. And I see that. I see that with an Oksana. She's learned English pretty good. She's doing really well, and Elena as well. And it's, as far as when they go to communicate with you, it helps them build that confidence and feel more confident and more comfortable here in the U.S. Wouldn't you agree, Robert?
Oh, absolutely. And one thing else I want to touch on, which neither one of us touched on, was I brought Dasha here shortly after you brought Anya, and they actually had a friendship and connected together. And whenever there was some issues, just life issues, it was somebody that they could talk to and relate to.
Same age. Yeah,
same age. Hey, is your parents doing this? Look what they're doing to me. And so they created a close bond, and I think that helped both girls as well with the transition to adjust with everything. And they weren't the only one that individually going through things. There was someone else, and they could talk to. And I know both of our wives talk to each other, especially at the beginning, a lot, time to time. What's going on here? Look what's happening here. And there's a lot of comfort, of course, talking to someone who knows what you're going through. And that helped a lot, because there are a lot of issues when you're coming from another country with a child and everything that goes with it. So I would also encourage anyone to seek out other like people, especially if they have children, and have the children become friends. It does help. It helps a lot.
So I think we got lucky too that Oksana and Elena both knew each other in Ukraine before they came here, and which is nice. We're only 8-9 hours away from each other, and they had that friendship before, and they've strengthened that friendship here in America, which is really good. So Anya and Dasha knew each other in Ukraine as well. So that's one extra plus that we got as fathers. So
absolutely, it helped us. It helped us a lot.
Yeah. So that's good.
It's part of community of Matchmaking Boutique by Natalie Koval. When I have a new couple that is coming, I'm seeking who's around. So, they are next to Robert and Oksana. Oksana, here's a new girl. Lena, here's a new girl.
So we have a new friend.
Well, we've got 2 children born recently, guys. 2 new babies. One in Turkey, and it's the second child of our couple, and another child is in Dallas.
Wow.
So they are
Very close.
not far from you guys.
Yep.
Dallas boys.
Yes.
Yeah, that was very close. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have Ola having a new baby in Dallas. It's a daughter. So I'm like super happy because community of Matchmaking Boutique by Natalie Koval is becoming bigger. And it is, well, and thanks to you guys, we can talk about it. We can say that, yes, it's a challenge to relocate a woman to another country. Well, yes, she has a child. It's another challenge to relocate a child and a woman to another country. But there is a big uniting factor, that is love, connection, wisdom, understanding, and actually willingness to do all that. Because if you guys don't support, it's not going to happen. If girls aren't telling their daughters what to do, it's not going to happen. So it takes both.
Yeah. You know what's good too is I want to say this too, and I noticed Oksana and Elena both have done this, is we've managed to meet husbands with wives from Ukraine and from Russia and all over in that area. And they formed there's like a little community that Elena communicates, I would say, with 10 to 20 girls here in our little town that are all from Russia and Ukraine. So that's actually helped. So she has girlfriends here that she can speak her language with and communicate with, and they can talk girl stuff about their stuff because she calls them her girls, and she can go have lunch with them, and it's really good. So I would encourage the women once they get here to find other girls that have come here as foreign brides, and it's good for the men too, because the men have another American man that they can speak with, and we share something in common. We all have a Ukrainian bride or a foreign bride, and it's really good. So I definitely encourage that. And build
that is a good advice.
With that. It's helped out a lot too. That's a great thing. Yeah.
Keith, thank you for that advice. I do say the guys to do so. So thank you very much, Robert and Oksana. You've been stars. I know you are taking a trip and you are on a mission to relocate certain things.
Yeah, it's not easy, believe me.
I really appreciate your taking the break in your big way from one place to another, and really taking the time and talking to us and joining our live stream. And Keith and Elena, you're just lovely. Yeah, I will always remember coming to you in November 2011, just after your wedding. Remember?
Yeah.
I brought that Ukrainian embroidered towel, and we had a celebration. We were eating a bear. I think you killed that bear.
Oksana loves that stuff too. Elk meat.
Yeah. I love it.
Oksana came out this year and helped me cut up some elk meat this year when we got an elk. That was great. Well, we celebrated. It was fun. Yeah.
Always welcome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm coming to America this summer, guys. I'm gonna be there.
That's wonderful.
Always welcome.
I'm gonna be there, so we're gonna celebrate. We will eat bear. What else have you got, Keith? Elk?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep it.
Oksana always cooks an amazing goose, so that's always good too.
Yeah.
Bear, elk, and goose. Okay, keep it in the freezer until I come. Good.
It's my fresh one, don't worry.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Natalie.
Yes,
so
and
much.
I recommend to all the people that are watching us to stay subscribed with Matchmaking Boutique by Natalie channel, because I'm sharing good advice. I'm giving you opinions of, like, unbiased opinions of people that have been there, that are having successful experiences of relationships, and it makes your new love story stronger, because when you learn things that people have done before, then you understand that it actually works. We had lots of people watching us today, and we are receiving lots of compliments from the audience, saying thank you, Robert and Oksana, thank you, Keith and Elena, for your
Thank you.
participating with us. Really, like, yeah, I can't wait to celebrate it all.
Yeah, if
And
I could say one thing, I would just tell the men to don't be afraid. Go for it. If you find that girl, that woman that you love, you make that connection, just go for it. I mean,
Just
you
do
can
it.
do it. Yeah,
Just
you
do
can,
it.
yeah, you can do it. It's great. And with anything, there might be a few little hurdles and stuff, but you can do it. I mean, you'll walk through it. It's not that hard. It's just life. You know, and especially when you find the one that you love, it's doors will open for you. Doors will open for you. Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you agree, Robert?
Absolutely. Just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Go for it.
Because marrying a single mom is not a problem.
Not a
No,
problem.
no.
No, it's a great thing. You
Yeah.
get another child. How wonderful is that?
Exactly.
What a great gift. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love
Natalie.
is possible. Family is possible. Relationship is possible. Anything is
Anything's
absolutely possible, right? When you are making conscious efforts to make it work and make it happen, right, Oksana?
Absolutely.
Look at
Absolutely.
Anthony. When we see Anthony, when I hug him, I absolutely believe that anything is crazy possible. We're
Yeah.
like having the baby like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
My love to
Natalie,
you
and see you.
guys.
Yeah.
Love you too, sweetheart.
Yeah. See you.
Yeah. See you. Thank you for your wonderful time, and well, we rock. We rock
Absolutely.
because good people, stay connected, and we make a difference in the world. And thank you, the dear visitors of Matchmaking Boutique channel, for watching us. You have good powerful way, or Oksana.
Yeah.
You watch. Make sure he drinks enough Red Bull.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Lena,
See you next
Kyiv.
time. Bye.
Bye-bye, you
Bye.
guys.